Good evening. You're very welcome to our Advent preparation here in the SMA parish in Wilton this evening. It only seems like yesterday since we prepared for Advent 2019. Little did we realise the year we were preparing for. As we prepared last year, we launched our Advent calendar. And our Advent calendar helped us to take time each day to stop. Time each day just to take a breath. Time each day to observe and to reflect. We reflected and we observed on some of the changes we might like to make in our lives. Changes that could improve life for us and improve life for those around us. When we took the time to observe and to reflect, then we choose to proceed. Proceed with patience, proceed with practice and with perseverance. Trying to make those changes which help us to live life to the full. Live life to the full for ourselves and help others to live life to the full. We focused each week on finding and growing one hidden treasure. We searched for treasures that were hidden deep within all of us. We merely had to find them. Just merely had to find them. We need to nourish them. We need to grow them. But above all, we need to practice them. However, to find them, we had to look for them. That search is often hindered by life's busyness. The doing of life very often takes over from the being of life. That inner, true, beautiful self that is often lost, buried, hidden, and suppressed. The treasures we searched for last year as we headed into Advent were gratitude, kindness, joy, and peace. 4 beautiful attitudes of mindfulness: kindness, gratitude, joy, and peace. Advent 2020 seems different. It seems different. There's a sense of hurry. The decorations are up already. When did we ever see decorations up? Nearly at the same time as Halloween. People are in a hurry. People want to see 2020 gone. They want to see 2021 arrive. People want to move on. Move on to what? Move on to where? How can we as individuals, families and communities use this sacred time of Advent to help us identify where we might like to go from here and how we might like to get there? Advent is a time to prepare. We need to prepare to move on. Advent is a time to prepare. Advent is a time to reflect. Sometimes we need to reflect before we move on. Advent is a time to pray. Prayer helps us to get where we want to go. Advent is a time to be silent. and we need to take the time to be silent. A time to step away from the busyness of life, a time to get off the hamster wheel. This year we might have a little more time. Whether we realise it or not, COVID has slowed down the hamster wheel of life. Let's take advantage of that time. So as we focus on the end of 2020, let us also focus on new beginnings. It's a time for new beginnings. Advent marks the beginning of the liturgical year for the Church. New beginnings bring life, and new beginnings bring hope. Right now, we all may feel starved of life and hope after the year we have put down. But are we really lost and starved of life and hope? Maybe not. Let us use this Advent to find purpose and meaning in our lives. Because where there is purpose and where there is meaning, there is life and there is hope. Regardless of what is going on around us, purpose and meaning brings life and it brings hope. So please join us over the next 3 weeks as I invite you to stop, take a breath, observe and reflect on what brings life and purpose to my life. What brings purpose and meaning and life in my life? Once I have done that reflection, then how may I proceed? With practice, with patience, and with perseverance to make the changes I need to make, which bring purpose and meaning to this life. There is a great opportunity during Advent. This year, I would like you to find, to nurture, and to grow the virtues of faith, hope, and love. Faith, hope, and love are intertwined. They coexist. They are codependent. One doesn't exist without the other. Faith is described as the confidence in what we hope for. The confidence in what we hope for is faith. And the assurance that the Lord is working even though we may not see it. My God, how we have needed that over the past 9 months. The faith to have confidence and hope, and the confidence to know that the Lord was working side by side with us, even though we often doubted it and didn't feel it on many occasions. Faith knows that no matter what is going on in our lives, the Lord is in the midst of it. Let us look this week just at faith. Faith on its own. That confidence which gives us the hope. We often read about it in Scripture. Scripture tells us over 365 times. There is probably one for every day of the year. We are reminded, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. we are constantly, constantly reminded not to be afraid. Many of our mystics have reminded us. Julian of Norwich tells us, all will be well. And it is a lovely sentence to be able to say, all will be well, but you must believe it in your heart, in the darkest of moments, that all will be well. Teresa of Avila has a beautiful message to strengthen our faith when she says, let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. All things pass away. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. He who has God finds he lacks nothing. God alone suffices. Just think of holding those words in your heart over the last 9 months. Let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. Where does that faith come from? How do we nurture it? How do we grow it? How do we practice it? It is fundamental to hope and to love. Without faith, you cannot have hope and you cannot have love. Faith is built on relationship. Relationship requires trust. Relationship requires respect. It requires love. It requires patience. It requires commitment. And above all, it requires time. We need to take the time to build relationship with our God if we want to strengthen our faith. It is very, very fundamental. Relationship dies without trust. Relationship will die without these efforts. Think of any human relationship you may have. If you lose contact, the relationship will die. If you lose trust, the relationship will die. If you don't put in the effort to connect, the relationship will die. It is the very same as our relationship with God. We must build the relationship. And by doing so, our faith gets stronger and stronger. And that trust is never ending. May I invite you this first week of Advent to stop, take a breath. When you stop and take a breath, you step away from the busyness of everyday life. And that is why I always say, just stop, take a breath. Observe and reflect. Where am I right now in my journey of faith? Where am I right now in my journey of faith? Maybe I've got off the bus. I've stopped the journey. Maybe I'm not practicing at all. Maybe I'm very anxious, simply because the routines that hold my faith together I cannot do right now. I cannot go to Mass. I cannot avail of the other sacraments. Simply because of restrictions, my faith could be tested right now because my faith relies very heavily on my routines and my rituals. Maybe my faith doesn't exist right now because I'm angry. I may be very angry with the church. I may be very angry with God Himself. So where am I right now in my journey of faith? This is an important reflection as I begin this Advent season. Wherever I am, it's okay. God knows where I am, and He accepts where I am. I am where I am, and it's okay. If I wish to get back on the bus, He is waiting for me to do so. He understands I'm very anxious because I can't go to Mass and I can't go to confession and I can't do all those things I'm so used to doing. He understands. It's okay. Advent is about new beginnings. So where can I start? What could I do during Advent to renew and strengthen my faith in God? How could I help others on their journey of faith? And particularly, if I'm a parent or a grandparent, how can I help children on their journey of faith, as my parents and my grandparents helped me on my journey of faith? We have an obligation to help children on their journey of faith. May I invite you to walk that journey of faith again. Take up wherever you left off. And let me share some suggestions with you as to how you might continue that journey of faith. Share your faith every day. Don't keep your faith a hide. Share it. Faith isn't meant just for Sundays. Faith is for 7 days of the week. Like Jesus, we are called to live our faith. And our faith is demonstrated in our actions every day, not just in the novenas and in the prayers we say. Our faith is a lived experience. It should be a lived reality in our lives, in our families, in our homes, in our workplaces. People should recognize us as Christians as we practice our faith. Give when finances might be tight. It's not about how much we give. It's the intention to give. That is practicing our faith. Love when it hurts to love. That is practicing our faith. Forgive even when it's not deserved. That is practicing our faith. Show up even when it's uncomfortable to show up. That is practicing our faith. Reach out even when we want to stay away. That is practicing our faith. Faith in action is not always easy. It is challenging. So just reflect on maybe one way this week you could practice your faith. Is there a past hurt in your family you might like to mend? Is there a forgiveness you might like to consider? Is there something you would like to give as we head into the season of Christmas? Just think of one thing you might commit to this week just to practice your faith. By practicing our faith, we become people who hear the word, who not just hear the word, we become people who actually put the word into action. Along with practicing our faith, try to connect with God. Try to connect with God. It's just like a friend you haven't called for a long time. And we keep putting off making that phone call. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. It's so easy to put off making that phone call. Pick up the phone and make the call. Give him a ring. He's waiting. He's anxiously waiting for your call. Let 2020 be different, not just a checklist to be ticked off. Put up the crib, sing a few carols, go to Mass, send a few cards, give presents to people who may not need them or even use them. That's the checklist, the to-do list. Try to make 2020 a little different. Connect with your God in a different way. Connect with your God in a meaningful way. This year, let tradition create that sacred space. The tradition of putting up the crib, but knowing why you're putting it up. Lighting the candle of hope, knowing why you're lighting the candle of hope. Singing the Christmas carols, knowing why you're singing the Christmas carols. Giving to the poor, rather than giving to somebody who really doesn't want what you're giving them and may never use what you're giving them. Our tradition of Christmas can very often be taken over by the materialistic side of Christmas, and that is what has happened. We have allowed the culture of Christmas, the true culture, the true meaning of Christmas, to be completely taken over by the materialistic side. We know we have to squeeze in the traditions, but we merely squeeze them in. The material side gets all of the attention. Try to flip that coin over a little bit this year, so that on Christmas morning you find that you open the true gift of Christmas. The true gift of Christmas. This year will be your faith, will be your hope, and will be your love. They are the true gifts you're going to give yourself this Christmas. Some actions that you might help you on your road and on your journey. Maybe take some time to read scripture. Again, people might say, God, I don't even possess a Bible in the house. There's no excuse. YouTube has beautiful clips. There are beautiful books. It doesn't have to be the Bible, but certainly scripture is the most beautiful book of all. The most published book in the world. Imagine it is still being printed 2,000 years after it was first published. What other book is being published for 2,000 years? Read the account of the birth of Jesus. Talk about the account of the birth of Jesus. Particularly talk about the birth of Jesus to children. They love the story of Christmas. It is a magical story. An account that doesn't get recalled gets forgotten. Only this weekend, think of how we recalled Bloody Sunday. If we didn't recall it after 100 years, we would have forgotten it. Many people that looked at the account of Bloody Sunday knew nothing about it because we didn't recall it in our history often enough. If we don't recall the true Christmas story, it will get forgotten. Recall it. Take time to pray. Take time to pray. That might sound a bit of a cliche. Take time to pray. Because when you take time to pray, you take time to be with your God. So how do I pray? If I got off that bus, I might have forgotten how to pray. I may have no implements or utensils to pray with. So how do I get on the bus and pray? Practice prayer. prayer is very personal. You don't have to say long prayers. You don't have to say short prayers. You don't have to read copious prayers or go out and buy prayer books. Prayer is time with your God. That time is your personal choice. It might be a walk in the afternoon. It might be 5 minutes in the morning, expressing gratitude before you face the day. It might be 5 minutes last thing at night, sharing your thoughts of the day, expressing your gratitude for the day. Prayer is personal. There is no right or wrong way to pray. Prayer is your way of building your relationship with your God. The only thing it requires is your time and your commitment to do it. Just do it. Let it become a habit each day. Last but not least, step out of your comfort zone. Step away from your comfort zone and get involved in church. Step out of your comfort zone and get involved in church. What is church? We are church. You are church. Get involved, because by getting involved as a Christian, you are acting your faith. Again, let me take you to the words of Teresa of Avila. Christ has no body now but yours. He has no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks compassionately on the world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the feet. Yours are the eyes. You are his body on this earth. Christ has nobody now on earth but you. You are his ambassador right now. We probably saw this so vividly in the past 9 months through our healthcare workers, our shop assistants, our police force, our neighbours. We saw so much of Christ coming to life through other people. Renew your faith. Renew your faith and act your faith. So for the homework, I always give homework. So for your homework this week, as you enter into the first season of Advent, or the first week of Advent, choose something to read. Choose something to listen to, if it is only the YouTube clip. Choose something to read or to listen to that will take you into the spirit and the season of Advent. Pray in your own way, whatever way that is. Walk, talk, sing, dance, whatever it may be. Connect with your God, just make the phone call. Act your faith. Do one thing this week where you can sit and reflect and say, I acted out my faith today. I did a random act of kindness. I put away a hurt that I have been harbouring for a long time. I choose a charity that I'd like to contribute to. Do something this week that will allow you to say, I acted out my faith today. Our Christian faith tells us that each heartbeat is a new creation. Each heartbeat is a gift from God. Each heartbeat is God blessing us with the gift of life in the here and now. So as we enter into this wonderful season of Advent, let's prepare. It is going to be different. We know it's going to be different. We have to be prepared and accepting that it's going to be different. Restrictions are going to be in place. We don't know at what level, but they are going to be different. We may not be able to engage in the usual rituals of going to Mass, going to confession. The usual rituals may not be available to us. Therefore, we are going to have to go the extra mile and make an effort to bring the tradition and to bring the ritual to our homes. That ritual and that tradition strengthens the faith in our home. Father Michael and the SMA community this year are inviting us to light our candle of faith, hope and love on Christmas Eve. Prepare your candle. Prepare the way of faith. Prepare for the way of hope. Prepare for the way of love. And above all, prepare for the way of the Lord. Our faith in a loving God, our confident hope that God is with us on the journey, our love for God and one another as we begin again, a new beginning. Next week, we will direct that faith towards the confident hope that God is with us, even in this pandemic. Good night and God bless.